Good evening, buenas tardes. I'm very grateful to God for the good and very Catholic family that I come from. My father and Israel and my mother Esperanza were very active in the parish of Santa Rosa in Pecos. All 8 of us children went to Catholic school. I served as an altar boy and a catechist in the parish. Perhaps it was with my family in this parish where the seed of my vocation started. Often I am asked when I knew that I had a vocation to the priesthood. There were several moments of discernment. A special moment of discernment happened on a mission trip with my spiritual director and his team ministering among the Otomi indigenous people in very poor villages in central Mexico. I remember teaching about the Eucharist to a community that was hearing about it for the first time. And what happened, they were the ones teaching me how to live the Eucharist. I felt God had touched my life. It was being with the poor that early on helped me discern a vocation to the priesthood. At the end of the mission trip, we went to the Basilica of Guadalupe, a dream come true for me. It was such a profound spiritual experience for me that Our Lady of Guadalupe has always been central to my spirituality and ministry. After my ordination with my father, I was blessed to celebrate my first Mass of Thanksgiving at the Basilica under the sacred tilma. Also, once while on retreat in prayer, I felt God somehow was talking to me while meditating on the Gospel of John. In this Gospel, Jesus is having an intimate conversation with Peter. Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter says, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Then Jesus tells him, "Take care of my flock." For me, being a priest means to daily say also, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you," and then translate this into a ministry of dedicated service to God's people, especially in the work of the transformation of this world into the reign of God, a reign of justice, love, joy, and peace. This is why for me, being a priest has been the greatest blessing in my life. I love being a priest. It's a life worth celebrating. Thanks to God.
Monsignor Arturo is a native-born priest who has faithfully served in our diocese for 48 years. I have seen firsthand his dedicated ministry and how he brings a unique vision to ministry, empowering the laity to take their place in the ministry of our church. For over 48 years, Monsignor Arturo has served at Santa Lucia, now known as St. John Paul II, where the rectory became a migrant shelter and later built a large parish hall to house more migrants. He worked as an administrative assistant to Bishop Peña and served at St. Pius X Parish and at St. Mark Parish. I saw St. Pius X explode with over 59 ministries. They also built a new church, a ministry center, a hall, and additions to the school. I was amazed with their service to the poor and the parish's prophetic and missionary focus in many outreach ministries. At St. Mark, I also saw tremendous growth in ministries, and I am very impressed with their amazing shrine to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I understand why parishioners call him an organized leader, a man of God, a good preacher, and has deep love of God in the Eucharist and in prayer. He is a progressive thinker, a builder, a dreamer, a visionary who has an amazing devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe, a servant of the poor, and a spiritual guide and mentor and friend to so many of us, and yet manages to be true to himself and to his roots. May Our Lady of Guadalupe and his patron saints, San Martin de Porres and Oscar Romero, continue to inspire his ministry.
God has richly blessed my life ministering with other amazing ministers. The children with disabilities, the RICO migrant children, the Sacred Earth Ministry, with our friends in Juarez, building a water well in Kenya, Africa, to mention just a few. In a special way, I will always remember our mission trips to the Sierra Tarahumara with the Rarámuri indigenous peoples. For me, being a priest is a call to a profound solidarity with the poor, the most vulnerable, and those on the margins. We are family, somos familia. This solidarity is at the heart of our spirituality. Standing with those who daily struggle to survive has been transformative for me in my spiritual life, calling me to engage in actions of justice. I see this as God's love in action. As followers of Jesus, we have to raise a voice, a prophetic voice. We cannot be on the sidelines while our brothers and sisters are not treated with dignity and respect. Solidarity with and for the poor is also a corrective to a false piety that wants a God to be disengaged from the daily life of the people we are called to serve. When we are in solidarity, there is a mutual experience of entering into each other's lives. And there we open ourselves to know the closeness of God among us. And so it is the poor that continue to teach me how to be a priest.
One of Monsignor Arturo's greatest contributions to our diocese is Tepeyac Institute, which under the inspiration of Our Lady of Guadalupe, he founded some 36 years ago. After his studies in Rome, he made a retreat at the Basilica of Guadalupe and returned to start Tepeyac Institute. He has a distinguished academic reputation as a scholarly theologian and a master teacher. He has a master in ministry from Notre Dame Seminary and a license STL and a doctorate magna cum laude from the Gregorian University in Rome. And he was awarded a doctorate in ministry honoris causa from Catholic Theological Union in Chicago. He co-founded and was past president of the Academy of Hispanic Theologians in the United States, ACTUS, was visiting professor of the Jesuit School of Theology, and continues to publish and lecture nationally. Among his other accomplishments is the Hope Border Institute, the Southwest Interfaith Alliance, and board member of Casa Guadalupe Retreat House, Mexican American Cultural Institute, and others. He has also been active in advocating for justice in our border area. Tepeyac is a tremendous blessing for our diocese. Monsignor Arturo has inspired thousands of laity to take their rightful role in the mission and ministry of the Church. Tepeyac continues to successfully offer basic and advanced formation programs. To date, over 71,000 people have participated in the Tepeyac formation programs.
Monsignor Arturo is a true representative of our Diocese of El Paso, not just nationally, but internationally. He embodies what it means to be a leader of disciples for our community. Monsignor has been a constant energizing force for the work of the Church in our diocese, and a conscience that calls our attention to those who are on the peripheries, as Pope Francis would say, in need of our awareness and of our service as a Church. Monsignor has called these things to light, and he has challenged us to serve.
I thank God for the call to serve, fostering the coming reign of God among us. I thank God for all the people who blessed and shaped me as a priest. My life has been full of so many beautiful, joyous blessings. You daily remind me that God calls me to stand before the community, to proclaim, witness, and celebrate God's goodness, grace, mercy, love, justice, joy, and the promise of glory. Even now that I am retired, I still feel the passion to serve God, and I pray God will use me till glory time.
Father Arturo, thank you for the 48 years of dedicated ministry.
You are a dreamer whose dreams know no limits. You give us hope and you witness to the living God among us.
You have used your life to drive change for a better world. You are a prophetic visionary, constantly devoted to working and prayer daily to bring about the reign of God, of justice and peace. Colaval, Padre Arturo.
You are a highly educated man with a long list of awards and accomplishments.
but you are also a simple and humble person with the capacity to be present to people's needs and generously give of yourself to them.
You have given your jacket, jeans, and shoes to those in need.
You are a preacher who inspires us to live faithfulness to Jesus Christ.
You have taught us about our baptismal consecration and our rightful role in the life of the Church.
You have great love for Our Lady of Guadalupe, and that has deepened our own love for our Blessed Mother.
You have accompanied us through life's most difficult moments and happiest celebrations.
You teach us that we are all one family.
Tú eres mi otro yo.
To see our cultural differences as blessings that enrich our lives.
You are constantly making a preferential option with and for the poor, both through direct service and advocacy, to change the causes of suffering for those who daily struggle to survive.
You love God. You love us.
You are a pastor, preacher, leader, theologian, teacher, spiritual guide, retreat master, counselor, confessor, and friend. You have cried with us, laughed with us, danced with us, and prayed with us as you have accompanied us on this journey.
You have interrupted many of your meals because I was knocking at your door, and you gave me a word of hope and an embrace of peace.
You have held our families and loved ones in your arms as they died,
and reminded us of God's promise of glory.
You have shared a meal at our table and blessed our homes,
and always connect us with a table for the Lord.
You have touched our lives. You have influenced our community, and you challenge us to put our gifts at the service of one another.